together. Try to love one another right now. What's going on here? Hello, everybody. What is going on? No, we don't want. There we go. Yeah, we don't want a picture of my litter box. Hello, everybody. It's Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and welcome to another Monday mini medicine card reading. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and I thought I was ready, and then I wasn't. So give me 1 second. I need to. Okay. Hello. All right. Hello, everybody. Who all do we have? Hey, Tammy. Tammy and Gage and Sage is here, and Anna. Holy cow, yay. Let me write. So, awesome. Thank you, you guys. I apologize for being a couple minutes late. Let's see. Trying to get everybody down before I lose track. Sevilla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woohoo! We have one spot left. So, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I'm late. I was drawing comics. So, we are going to pull some cards, some medicine cards. And this deck, if you're not familiar, has a different totem animal on each one. And depending on which animal pops up, each animal has a different message for you, different meaning, and all that kind of stuff. And my only request tonight for watching this video is if you would please share it. Share it to your friends, share it to your page, share it to your social media. And the way this works, if you're new here, the first 6 people to say yes in the comments, we've already got 5, get a 1 card reading. So if we've got 1 spot left, if there's anyone coming in that would like a 1 card reading tonight, all you need to do is say yes in the comments. Then we'll have a full house. And if you are not one of the first 6, all you need to do, you're not left out in the cold, I promise you. All you need to do is choose a number between 1 and 6 and pay attention when that card comes around. And I promise you that whatever your question is, whatever your guidance is, will be interwoven with that card, no matter who it's for, right? Spirit has a beautiful way of doing that. So, okay, let's get started. Hi, Key God World. I'm not sure how you say your name, but welcome everybody. I've been doing this since the pandemic, and it seems to be really popular, so I keep doing it. I enjoy it. So, I never know when people... Hi, Tiffany. All right. Here are number 6. I was looking at... I don't know if it's Key God World. You said hi, but you didn't say yes. I'm not sure if you wanted a card or not. So I'm gonna give it to Tiffany. Tiffany, you're my number 6. But because that's the rules. Hello, Tiffany. And I want to make sure I'm fair to everyone. And then once I do the 6, I will pull an extra card, which is kind of the community totem card. It's so funny. I'm sitting here watching. I'm not used to YouTube. I usually did this on Facebook, but I'm sitting here, and the number of people started at like 5. Oh, thank you. Tell me, I'm not sure how to say. I don't know how to say your handle using CB Talk. The word that your name there, but thank you for subscribing. What was I saying? I get really overwhelmed really easily, if you can't tell. And that's why Facebook was so nice, because it was the same people over and over. And now I'm expanding. And that's, if you would please share this video, help me expand my influence further. I'm a little out of my comfort zone, but it's a good thing. And I was going to say something else, and I don't remember what it is now. So, all right. And if you enjoy my work, if you wish to support your friendly neighborhood shaman, in the description, everything, I have my PayPal and Venmo links. And this is my day job. This is what I do for a living. And so anything you give. Cassie, hi, thank you. I don't know, I'm new to YouTube. I don't know how Super Chat works. If that's something that I'll have to look into that. And I've seen it. I don't know if you guys, I watch the Y-Files YouTube channel, and they do the Super Chat all the time. So I know what it is, but I don't know how it works. But thank you. If you want to send me something through Venmo or PayPal, that would be great. Or if you want to send the Super Chat, maybe that will you need over 50. Well, I've got over 50 subscribers, or I wouldn't be able to go live. 1,000 watch hours. I don't know that. So thank you, you guys. This is also supporting me. I have it in the description, but it's like PayPal at Perching Wolf Studios, I believe. I have it in the description of this video right now, and the Venmo. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. So, all right, well, why don't we get to the cards? Otherwise, we might be here all night, because I do. If you've seen me at all before, you know that I'm a little verbose, loquacious, and I tend to talk a lot. So card number 1 for Tammy. And thank you guys for watching. It means the world to me that people are willing to come and spend time with me. Okay, thanks, Gage. I really appreciate that. Telling me about watch hours and what that means. I'm going to look, I made a note to myself. I'm going to look up Super Chat and how that works when we're done here. But you guys just asking those questions actually is support for me, because I wouldn't know what to do or where to go or what to ask myself. So thank you. All right, Tammy. Whoa. Ha. Card number 1 for Tammy. You got Bear in reverse. Bear is about introspection. And so in reverse, it's kind of like there's a need to go back into the cave, go back. And this is something that's been on my mind lately. Um, I thank you, Gage. I appreciate your help. Um, it's something that's been on my mind lately because I read there was a meme recently that someone was saying how it's when, okay, how do I put this into my own words? It's when we're constantly focused outward, we're consuming, whether it's information, whether it's objects, products, whatever. If we're constantly consuming but not expressing, that's when things get out of balance, right? And I realized that for myself, this is a lesson for myself as well right now, that I have not been keeping up. I have a blog, which I haven't written in a long, long time. I have journals. I've got like 2 or 3 journals going at the moment on different subjects. I haven't been writing in those. And so I think like this is about needing to seek your own counsel rather than, and this is where I tend to like watch what people are doing, what people are saying, trying to figure things out, trying to find my bearings in the outside world instead of the inner world. And so it's time to go inward. It's time to go into the darkness of the cave, to let go of everything you think you know, to let go of what the world is saying, let go of everything and go into the darkness, go into the void, right? We need that, and that is like, that's why we sleep every night, right? We do so much and we get tired, and then we need to sleep to integrate all those lessons, to integrate all those experiences. We go into the darkness, into the void, into the womb to integrate. And so it's also about validating yourself rather than, because Tammy, I know how in tune you are. I know how aligned you are. Like, I don't know anyone. I always talk about how the universe is always talking to us in signs and symbols and synchronicities. But I don't know anyone better than you at reading those signs. It's like, it's not a, I mean, you're in this constant conversation, moment after moment after moment, right? And it might be, there might be a need for more downtime, more quiet time. It's time to live from the inside out rather than the outside in. That's awesome. I didn't, yes. I didn't even mean to say that. She just made the point of find your bearings. I can't believe I missed that. I love puns. Puns are one of my happiest things. So thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, it's so, It's like validating yourself rather than constantly checking if you're in the right place at the right time, checking what am I supposed to be doing, realizing that ultimately you are the divine, right? I've read that bear was the very first deity ever worshipped by humankind. Because in the oldest grave sites, the people were buried with bones of bear because she had dominion over life and death, right? To their eyes, she died every winter and then she was raised from the dead every spring. And so she was the first great goddess. She was the first mother goddess. And so it's like going back, going deep, going deep into your own divine source, right? And it's like recalibrating, you getting your bearings from the point of view that all the signs and symbols and things that are arising around you are a reflection of you. Thanks, Cage. Gage just put a joke. What's an octopus's favorite part of being famous? Octographs. Oh my God! Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Um, I love dad jokes. But anyway, so Tammy, you might even think about doing like a weekend retreat or something. Like really just spend 2 or 3 days by yourself writing or meditating or both, journeying. Um, I know I've been feeling that pull. I think I'm going to need. I do this vision off and on. I haven't done it for a couple of years now, and I don't think I'll be able to do it this year. But I do. There's a vision quest I like to go on every year, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do the official one this year. But I've been starting to feel the call to sit in just sit in the woods for a couple of days, just me and Creator. Hi Renee, I apologize. We have already got our 6 people. So if you want to choose a number between 1 and 6, I promise that whatever guidance you need will be there. We're only on card number 1, so you've got 5 more cards to go. Gage, thank you so much. You are so helpful. So it's like, here's another way of putting it, Tammy. When you get when the universe is speaking to us, right? It's kind of like hearsay. It's like when you're documenting something, right? There's the primary documentation and there's secondary documentation. Primary documentation is when you're taking it right from the original manuscript or the original person that said it, the original writing. Secondary is when another source quotes someone else and you take that from that secondary source. And when we're reading the synchronicities in the world, it's kind of secondary source. It's like it's a reflection. It's not original source. And so this is about getting in touch with your source, the font of your wisdom, the font of your being, right? And then interestingly, see how that voice of the world changes to reflect your new understanding of who you are, right? So I hope that is helpful. Oh, shoot, I was going to see. I'm trying to also keep track of what the counter is when I pull the card, so I can put it in the definition, in the description as well. So when you watch this on repeat, you're welcome, Tammy. I hope that's helpful. When you watch this on repeat, I'm trying to put the counter numbers up so that you can choose a number and then just pop right to that card to get your, so you don't have to wade through the entire thing. All right. Give me 1 second. It is hot here. Kinda. I was such a little dehydrated. All right, card number 2 for Gage. All right, so card number 2 for Gage is Beaver in reverse. I actually just saw a beaver. There's a beaver that lives in the river down where I go to do my ceremonies. And the other day I was down there and there were 3 of them. I don't know if it was like a mated pair and a baby or what. All you could see is about this much of the top of their head as they're scooting up the water, scooting up the river. But I love beaver medicine. So Gage, beaver is the visionary of the animal kingdom, right? Like other animals just see trees and bushes, etc. Beaver sees the trees and he sees dams and lodges. You saw a beaver today too? I know, when a couple years ago I saw the beaver in the river, it was like really close. I swore it was a capybara. It was so big. I'm like, what's a capybara doing over here? But that's so cool that you just saw one. So beaver sees the visible apparent universe, like what's available, and then sees what can be done with it. He sees beyond what is seen to what can be done with it. A beaver is resourceful. Like an art, like to me, like artists, shamans, and singer, like artists of all kinds, visionaries, right? It's the cool. I'm glad you're sticking around, Renee. Thank you. We are the visionaries, and for me, my default setting is Star Trek, right? We use Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, as an example. Back in the 60s, when he created Star Trek, it was the Vietnam War, it was the all these protests, kind of similar to what's going on right now. where it felt like the world was being torn apart. There was unrest, there was conflict, there was divisiveness. And yet, here in the middle of all of that was this man who saw a world that was so united that they had the communal resources to explore the galaxy, right? He had a vision of a planet where there were no wars, there was no need for money because each individual was respected and honored and supported in their strengths so that everything was taken care of. Oh, that's so cool. You swear all the cards come back to you. It doesn't surprise me. That happens all the time. And so, you know, most people, and this is like as a shaman, as an artist, I feel like one of my greatest gifts to my community is that sense of vision, being able to see beyond what's going on right now, beyond the drama, beyond the unrest, to see and this is what makes people think you're just a dreamer, you're just I've been called a fluffy bunny before because I'm unrealistic, because I know that the world is getting better. Thank you. I don't know if I have super chat available. I don't know what I know what super chat is. I don't know if I can do it on my channel. I don't know if I've got the qualifications. I'm going to look into that, but thank you. I do have my PayPal and my Venmo links in the description of this video. If you wanted to give me something that way, I am so appreciative. Thank you, Gage. Anyway, so one of my, you know, and that's like, I mean, we're doing cards, right? Because you have questions. You're trying to decipher the messages of the world, the messages of spirit. And it's not always clear. And so that's my job, is to help to clear. How do I want to say this? Clear the air, to see beyond just what is, to see what can be, right? And you know, it comes down, for me, it comes down to that quote from Einstein, where he said something about your greatest decision in this life is whether you live in a friendly universe or a hostile one. Because if you believe you live in a friendly universe, those two sides are mutually exclusive. Either everything has meaning and purpose or nothing does. The universe is alive. The universe is aware. The universe is conscious. We are part of a conscious universe. The universe is on your side. We live in a friendly universe. And it's like that other quote from Joseph Campbell: when you move in the direction of your dreams, where there were only walls, doors will open. Because the universe is on your side. We are, how do I put this? We are the instigators, we are the co-creators of this reality. And rather than trying to figure out what we're supposed to do, what creator, what the divine wants us to do, creator of the universe is waiting for you to say what you want. The universe is up there going, what do you want to do? I can't get you there unless you tell me what you want to do. Who do you want to become? And so it's like a giant GPS system. The universe is waiting for you to put in that destination. What do you want to do with your life? What are your strengths? Who do you want to be when you grow up? Right? And then you focus on that. And that's when those synchronicities and those miracles show up. People come out of the woodwork to help you find your next step, right? To get you where you're going. And so when you know that the universe is friendly and you can trust that every step you take is a step closer to your destination, closer to your home, so that you can trust your visions. Here's where this is finally getting to the message of the card. Trust your visions of what can be. Don't get pulled into the darkness of the world, to the chaos of the world, to the confusion of the world. Like I was told once by my teacher's guide, confusion is just a distraction. It's like a line, rest, stop, just stop, breathe, and figure out not what you're supposed to do, but ask, what do you want to do? It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. You are the center of your world. You are the center of your reality. And no matter what's going on around you, no matter what decisions other people are making, it can't affect. It does affect because we're interdependent, but it also, the different challenges and the different resistances that you experience in your personal world are custom suited to help launch you. Okay? Does that make sense? It's like the fears you need to overcome to get where you're going are custom made for your personal growth. And so trust your visions, trust your dreams. The thing I love about beaver medicine is that, to me, beaver medicine is about trusting that the universe is not going to give you certain desires or dreams or visions without giving you the resources with which to build them. Does that make sense? And as a show of faith, Beaver's teeth never stop growing because Beaver knows he's never going to run out of material with which to build his world. And the other thing about Beaver is that he's so focused on his own personal path, his own personal fulfillment, listening to his heart and living up to what his heart is telling him, what his heart is calling him to do. By fulfilling that, he affects everybody. When they build a dam, it creates new water features that creates new water sources so that the wildlife has more sources of water to drink, more sources of water for those who need to be born in the water, like dragonflies. It creates more marshes and bogs that makes the forest more resilient against forest fires. And also so that it doesn't flood out in the rains, it can soak up more rain. So by doing what his heart calls him to do, and it might sound selfish, but by following his visions, by following his guidance, by following what his heart is telling him, the entire world benefits. Okay? So you have certain desires, certain talents, certain passions in this world for a reason. Those are divinely given gifts. That is the compass that you are meant to follow. And when you follow those, That's when the synchronicities happen. That's when the miracles happen. So follow your dreams. Your job is not to figure out the how. Your job is just to plug in that destination in your cosmic GPS system and then watch for the signs. It's like, just like a GPS, the universe will be like, okay, go a mile forward and then turn left. It won't give you the entire, all the directions at the same time. It'll do step by step by step. So just be present in every moment, listening to your heart and asking, what is the greatest thing I could do right now for my personal growth? What would bring me the most joy? Following the path of our desires and our passions is the path of joy, is the path of least resistance. We're always taught that you have, if you're not struggling, if you're not exhausted by the end of the day, if you're not pushing hard enough, no pain, no gain, then you're not doing anything. That is totally opposite. It should, I keep throwing should in there, but it can be effortless. I don't mean that it's not, there aren't going to be bumps in the road or challenges, but I mean effortless in the way that spirit carries you when you're moving in the direction of your desires. Spirit carries you, just like doing whatever it is that you get lost in, because that's where you find yourself, right? For me, it's drawing comics and stuff, right? It's the two places that I feel the most at home, the most myself, the most centered, is when I am drawing comics or when I am in the woods. And so follow those dreams. That is your compass. Gosh, and there is so much more. I could talk for hours, but I won't. So I hope that is helpful. I hope that gives you a little bit. All right, next card. I keep forgetting to look at the timer. Card number 3 for Sage. Hi, Sage, I've missed you. All right, card number 3 for Sage. Coyote in reverse. We're getting a lot of reverse cards tonight, but that's okay. Coyote, of course, is the trickster. And so the first question that comes up is, what part of your life are you taking yourself too seriously? Where are you? It reminds me of something that someone told me a while back. They took this class about, it was a class on speaking, I think, and it was about about presenting something, presenting an idea or something. And unbeknownst to the presenter, the person, like whoever was setting up the class, had divided the audience into those that are for and those who are against whatever the idea was, right? And the interesting result was that usually the person presenting, the person speaking, would spend the whole time focusing on trying to convince the side of the room that didn't believe them, rather than addressing the people that were on their side, the people that got them, the people that supported them. They spent all their time trying to convince others. And so it's kind of like, it's that pearls before swine thing, right? Um, it dovetails so lovely with what I just said at the end of the last card about pushing, about forcing, right? We don't change the world through force. We change the world through power. It's like in the Tao Te Ching about, how is that? Conquering others requires force. Conquering self requires enlightenment. It's the difference between force and power. And there's a book to that effect that I haven't read the book yet. It's on my library list. But the basic is we can either try to force change, we can try to force people to change, force the world to change, or we can find our own power and be the presence of power, the presence of love. And that changes the world more than trying to force. Because when you try to force others, you get the resistance. They dig in their heels, so then you have to push even harder. And so you're pushing in the wrong direction. You're pushing, like I was saying earlier, move in the direction of your joy. Move in the direction of support. Because it's like I've talked before about, it kind of brings in elk medicine a little bit, about how usually, so you're here, your vibration, your frequency is up here. The people that you're trying to change are down here, right? And so we have this tendency to lower our frequency so that we're head to head with those we're trying to change, right? And so we just lowered our frequency. We had to, because up here, we changed. We no longer have whatever this issue is, whatever these people are dealing with, whatever attitudes they have are no longer a part of your attitude up here, right? But then you throw that away and come down here to try to change them, convince them, and then it becomes a battle of wits. Then you get the duality. Then you get us versus them. That's what creates the divisiveness. Stay up here. Be your best possible expression. Exude light and love. Hold that vision, right? No one really talks about it anymore, but I remember back when I was first learning about metaphysics and manifesting and all that stuff, we were always talking about the light workers, right? And warriors of light. And it was about our main job in this world is to hold that light, to hold that frequency. We're not here to battle others, to change others. We're here to hold that vision, bringing up that beaver medicine again, hold that vision of oneness. We are in a non-dual universe. We are all part of the same energy. Either we all get there or none of us do. And the only way to assure that we're all going to get there is to awaken that divine within yourself, right? And it's like the same thing that you don't dive into the water to rescue someone that's drowning. Unless you're trained, unless you've got flotation devices or whatever. But for the most part, you don't jump in to save a drowning person or you're going to end up drowning. They will end up drowning you with them. you always approach that with your feet on solid ground, and you reach down, or you reach out with something, or you throw them something from the shore, from solid ground, in order to bring them back up to solid ground, right? And so with Coyote, it's like, you know, rather than having arguments and, you know, me versus them or whatever, if you're engaged in conversation, ask questions, inquire, you know, and it kind of is that namaste thing again, that divine in me greets the divine in you. No matter who it is who is in front of you, they are just as divine as you are. Everyone in the world is as divine as every other person. And it's from that place of divinity we need to approach others. You know, and so that's part of that light worker path, is about moving from that place of heart, that place of oneness, seeing that person as divine no matter where their frequency is, they are still divine by nature. And so approaching them from here and inviting them up, and like asking questions, engaging, you know, and again, as a light worker, just like I don't sit here and take notes and figure out what I'm going to say before this, or okay, I need to study the cards so that I know exactly what to say. when certain cards come up, I know exactly what I'm going to have to say. It's like open to spirit and allow what comes through. Spirit will know the words. You will find the words coming out of your mouth. You'll find engagement, you know, because the thing we have in common is that everyone wants to be seen, everyone wants to be heard, everyone wants to be loved. And so many people are living in fear. They don't feel safe. They don't feel loved. They don't feel seen or heard. And so they're railing against anything that is seemingly different from them or from how they've been raised, because it's we need to be able to walk through those invisible barriers, those invisible walls, and see them as divine, which means we have to see ourselves as divine first. Otherwise, there's no hope. If we're trying to force people into believing something, human nature doesn't take force very well, right? But we have to realize our oneness, our common ground, and our common goals, right? We're all trying to get to the same place. We all want the same things. We see them differently. We interpret things differently. So what's my vision of a perfect world is different from how someone else might see the perfect world, because they're moving from fear, so they believe they need protection, they need force to uphold the safety and the peace, when to me those are the natural outcomes of when people are whole and healed and have all their necessities met, right? If everyone had their necessities met, we wouldn't have the problems we have in the world. That's really what it comes down to. And so, again, this is kind of the theme of the night, but it's like, again, like I always say, before you act, align. Just like in the Bible when Jesus says, seek ye first the kingdom, right? Align. Find your alignment with spirit, with your higher self, whatever you want to call it. And then act, because that's how you, that's where you connect to that cosmic GPS system, right? And in a way, that's your destination, your higher self. That's your destination. So the more you can align with that higher self, the easier it is to feel the nudges in the right directions. And that way, every action you do is inspired action, inspirited action. And so those actions create real change that ripples outward, right? And it touches not only the people that you are dealing with face to face, but it ripples out and touches every person that that person deals with. And so on, and so on, and so on, right? So enjoy yourself. Don't forget that the thing that we are standing up for is joy, is freedom. And if we wait until we've won the battle in order to feel that joy, we've already lost, because that day will never come. It's important to feel joy every day, right? Like that, the phrase that I live by, walking in beauty. It's like everything you say or do sows seeds of love or fear. And I always make sure that the one thing I always make sure of, no matter what else is happening, is that there's a little more beauty in the world when I go to bed at night than when I wake up in the morning, right? There's enough hate, there's enough ugliness, there's enough darkness in the world. Don't add to it, you know? And the thing is too, I don't know how, like back, I think it was during the first reign of this administration, but there were people, like when there were the different white supremacist demonstrations and stuff, people were showing up with instruments to drown them out. There were clowns, literal clowns showing up, noses and hair, and they were just goofing around. So it wasn't this, you know, head to head fighting my beliefs against your beliefs. They were making fun. And there's no way to resist that. They don't know, like Voldemort doesn't like to be made fun of, right? They don't know how to handle that. When you fight them, boom, they know how to handle that. John Lennon was talking about, as soon as you start to use violence, they know how to handle you. Then they've got you because you're playing by their game. But when you offer nonviolence, when you offer humor in the face of all of it, they don't know how to handle that, and it unwinds them. It disarms them. And I remember some white supremacist group complaining about the people making fun of them, like they weren't taking us seriously. It's like, don't know what to tell you, dude. But don't take yourself so seriously either, right? Remember that life is a cosmic joke. And the joke is that we keep forgetting our own divinity. That we're all in this together. We're like kids playing in sandboxes. And we think that the fate of the universe depends upon us doing the right thing, when we're making it up as we go along. There is no pre-made plan, and there is no one in the sky with a dry erase board keeping score of everything you do right and everything you do wrong. Everything we're doing is improv. We're making it up as we go along. And so respond to the world with humor. Respond to the world. And I'm not saying to deny those other emotions. Don't deny if you're feeling afraid. I still go to places of despair sometimes. But I sit with it. And I know that it's temporary, that's when those things come up, that's those lower vibe parts of you coming to the surface to be loved, to be reassured, and to be released. Because you are eternal. You are a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience. All these things we're talking about, that's our default setting. It seems kind of out of reach from where we are physically because we don't know how to embrace it. We've never been taught how to embrace it. It's not normal to the way society works. That is what we are trying to change. There are more people waking up on the planet right now than ever before. There are more people in the world who recognize the interdependence of all of us, every country, every culture. We're all interdependent. We rely on each other. We're all human. We're all part of the same race. And the more we can get to that place, like I was just thinking the other day, like I was just imagining a world where all this money going toward defense and military, etc. What if we started investing in ways to de-escalate? What if we started instead of exploring ways to destroy our enemies, what if we started exploring ways to de-escalate, to actually engage with others and find ways, give therapy to the world, whatever, there's so many, we've moved so forward in psychology and spirituality and all these different things. What if we started utilizing those things to bring the world together rather than to continue to divide it, continue to try to protect it, try to keep us in fear from our enemies when we realize there are no enemies? Let's make Star Trek a reality. I know it's going to happen. I can see it. I can feel it in my bones. I know that's where we're headed. Despite what things might look like right now, that is where we are headed. And one of my favorite affirmations is, only good can come of this. That is for anything in my individual life, anything in the world, even as horrible as things might happen, only good can come of this. Let's take this opportunity. Things are horrible. Things are falling apart. So just like people were saying during the pandemic, instead of restoring things to the way they were, let's make them better. We have the opportunity. Things have fallen apart. Let's build them back better than they were. Let's build a better world. So, I think I got off track a little bit, Sage, but I hope that's helpful. Find reasons to laugh every day. Find excuses to feel joyful every day. Even if it's just enjoying ice cream or something like that, treat yourself, Exactly. You're doing it, actually. You want to do this full time, you're always doing it full time. It's who you are. Like Sandra Ingerman says, it's not what we do, but who we become that changes the world. And what you're doing is not something you can turn off, right? Like, for instance, I was at the river a couple of days ago, I had my drum and my pipe. I was doing ceremony. I was just packing up, and this guy came over and started asking me questions. He's like asked me about my drum, asked me about this and that and this and that, and I was kind of telling him a little bit. He's like, could I ask you some questions? Do you have time for, and I'm like, absolutely. And I was like, I am a shaman. I am your friendly neighborhood shaman. I always have time. This is my job. So I sat there for like another 2 hours with this man and his wife and talking to them about spiritual stuff. And I actually gave Reiki to them. They had no idea what Reiki was. And I gave them each Reiki. And especially the woman, she was so anxious. She was kind of scattered and anxious and stuff the whole time. And then I got done doing Reiki on her and I asked how she was feeling. And she was like, I feel calm. And I was like, good. And she's like, no, you don't understand. She's like, I haven't felt calm in years. And so if I had been like, nope, sorry, off the clock, here's my card, call me, set up a session with me, it wouldn't have happened. But because, this is a 24/7 thing, it's who I am, not what I do. I sat there and I was joyful too. It wasn't work. I enjoyed meeting them and talking to them, and they offered me beer and weed, and I'm like, no, thank you. But they actually thought I was homeless. They're like, do you have a place to stay tonight? I'm like, no, I live right up the hill. I'm good, thank you. But it's who you are. You're always doing it. You're always, it's like manifesting. Like when you start to learn how to manifest, we think, oh crap, I have to watch all my thoughts, all my words. I have to make sure I'm not thinking anything bad, right? But the thing is, you're not starting from scratch. Your entire life up to that point, you have been manifesting your world. It's just been kind of a hit and miss depending on how you were feeling or what you were thinking. And so rather than it being trying to change all the bad thoughts to good thoughts, it's just starting to focus on the more, to move in more positive ways. You're already manifesting. You're already doing the work. Acknowledge that even when you're not doing the work, when you're not like sitting in front of a client or whatever, you're still doing the work. You're still sending out those ripples. You're still affecting your world. You're affecting the universe. So just be every moment in love and playfulness. Trust that the universe is playful. Ask the universe, here's your assignment. Ask the universe to display to you its playful nature. And then be ready, because it will do so. It's like when Coyote comes and nips at your heels and trips you up, it's not because he's trying to humiliate you. He's not trying to put you in your place. He's trying to say, come on, let's play. You're too serious. Come on, let's play. Okay? So, whew. All right, that was a long-winded one. But I hope that's helpful, Sage. All right, card number 4 for Anna. Ha. All right, Anna, card number 4. So you're going to tell all your Capricorn planets to get over themselves. That's funny. You're so welcome. Make it a game. Turn it into a game. Capricorn's the goat, right? And I don't know any goats that take things too seriously. They're always bopping around and hopping, like jumping on top of things and banging things with their heads and be the little baby goat. Okay, so card number 4 for Anna is Crow. I know I just did a reading for you last week, and I'm pretty sure Crow came up. But maybe, I think it was you, but one way or another, Crow is a lot about shadow work, right? And the picture here is like Crow looking at his shadow, looking at his reflection, right? And so this is a good sign, like you've been doing the work. Your sun sign is Sagittarius, Sage. We should go to the archery range sometime. So you've been doing the work. It's like I think for you the message is to recognize and take credit for how far you have come. Recognize that you might, so like we tend to think of things all or nothing, right? But this isn't to say that you don't still sometimes get tripped up by your shadow, but you have a much better vision, a better discernment between what is real and what is not real. What is, the physical world, navigating our physical world, navigating society, etc., without well, think about it. So the reflection is in water, right? And water is emotions, right? And so this, to me, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling here is that because you recognize what's real, what's not. These emotions might still come up. You might still see your shadow or your reflection, but it's not owning you. It's not keeping you from living, from moving forward on your path. Does that make sense? There's a story about how this woman was walking down, she took this walk every single day. Same street, same place. And one day, there was an open manhole. And she didn't see it, and she fell into the manhole. The next day, she was walking, and again, she didn't see the manhole, and she fell right in. She took her walk the next day. This day, she was prepared. She knew the manhole was coming. She saw it, but she was still moving too fast, and she fell in anyway. Right? The next day, she's walking. She knew it was coming up. She had the awareness that it was coming up. She saw it, and she was able to walk around it. She didn't fall in. The next day, she went on her walk, and she walked down a whole different street. And so it's not an all or nothing. It's a process, right? It's like those shadows still come up. They still call to us. We still get overwhelmed with the emotions and stuff. But a friend of mine used to channel Jeshua. I used to go to the Jeshua sessions all the time. And one thing Jeshua told us is that the marks of a master is not someone who doesn't go to these places. The mark of a master is someone who doesn't stay in those places. And each time we go to those places, we come out of them quicker. And we utilize those places to make, it's like, you know, like when you're dialing in a radio station, right? You kind of move a little bit past it and you come back a little bit past it and then you zoom in on and you get it right. That's what this is about. You are fine-tuning your life. It's like you're going a little bit out of focus one way, coming back and then going out of focus just a little bit the other way before you come into center, right? And it's kind of like those places where you kind of go off center. Think of it as the rumble strips on the side of the road, right? You're going down the road and you're starting to daydream, and so your car starts to kind of drift over. All of a sudden you hit those rumble strips. It's like boom, 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 and it kind of wakes you up. And if you realize what's going on, all you need to do is ease back over into your lane, right? But if you totally freak out, you'd be like, what is that? And you go off the road, right? So when old issues come up, when you start to feel overwhelmed, just stop, take a couple of breaths, think of this, okay, that's a rumble strip. All I need to do is recenter, right? And give yourself credit for all the work you've done. You're doing amazing things. And, you know, and it's like I said, that reflecting, I know you're writing a book, and reflecting on yourself, reflecting on your past, reflecting on your own issues is helping you to discern better what's real and what's not real, okay? So good job. All right, card number 5 for Sivia. So let's see if we can, yeah, we're probably gonna go. I always figure an hour and a half for these videos, but I haven't even been able to keep it within those bounds. So we might go a little bit late. Thank you for everyone who's still with me. I appreciate your perseverance. I appreciate your energy. You know, I mean, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. It's because of your questions, your inquisitiveness, your curiosity that shapes what happens here. And I appreciate that. I really do. I am so grateful for you. All right. All right. So Sivia, Sage, you learned what those road bumps are called. Yeah, they're called rumble strips. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. I am grateful for my life. So, card number 5 for Sylvia is Lynx. And so, Lynx is like the matron saint of psychics and seers. Um, I'm trying to think of, there's people who say that, you know, the Sphinx in Egypt, there's people who believe that it wasn't actually a lion originally, that it was a lynx. And it's like that whole riddle of the Sphinx kind of thing. It's about questioning. Don't be afraid to question things, right? There's in the Arthurian tales, there's a tale, one of my favorites is of Sir Percival. And he's one of the ones, I believe, who actually found the Grail. I think it was him and Galahad and Benevere? And they were, because they were the most pure of heart. And Percival carries this kind of feeling of innocence. But he was told by his father to, he was told by his father to never question, right? It's like children are meant to be seen and not heard. And so he you know, and this, I mean, it's kind of interesting how this fits into today's world and what's happening. Because there's so many people that don't question. They were told, this is the way it is. This is the way it's always been done. So this is the way you do it, right? And because he didn't, so he ends up in the castle of the Fisher King. The Fisher King was a king of this land, and I'm trying to think of how to like say this, make this shorter, but basically the Fisher King was injured and back then there was this, like when you became a king, and this is a Celtic thing, when you became king, it's like you were married to the land. And so he did something that betrayed that trust, betrayed that connection, and he ended up being injured, and the land itself became barren. And Percival came, and he was invited to dinner, and as they were at dinner, this procession came out, and it was the Grail Maiden. She had the Grail in her hands, and they came parading out past the table and back into another room, and Percival, because he was told not to question things, kept his mouth shut, but he was so filled with curiosity, right? He didn't know what was going on, and he didn't realize that that was what was needed to heal this whole situation. So he woke up the next day, the castle was gone, the king was gone, there was nothing there. And it took him a long time, but he went out, continued his quest for the Grail, and eventually found his way back and found himself in with the Fisher King in the Fisher King's castle, and this procession started again, and he asked the question, he asked about it, he asked, and that was what healed the king and the land. I know that doesn't totally make sense off the top, but the point is that it's in asking the questions rather than settling for what things are, just assuming things have to be the way they are. Always questioning, always asking what else could be. You know, using the phrase "what if" but not in a way, not in a, well, what if I do the wrong thing? What if this is hopeless? What if it's pointless or whatever? Start asking the questions, what if this is the greatest thing I could do for society? What if my joy is intimately connected to the joy of the world? What if I really am divine and powerful beyond measure? What if? And allow those questions to draw you forward. You know, and the fact is the card came up upright. So, yes, engaging the imaginal realm. And it's like Matthias de Stefano, he's this guy, I won't go into a lot of detail, I know I'm getting short on time, but he's on the Gaia channel a lot. I don't have the Gaia channel anymore, but I'm watching one of his programs, and he's this guy that remembers his past lives. He remembers, like, not just past lives on the earth, but on other planets, and actually remembers lives as part of a star system, not even an individual, but as a star system. And he was born human again this lifetime. He remembers Atlantis, Lemuria. It's cool because there's videos of him, and he was actually singing a lullaby he learned when he was a kid, when he was a child in Atlantis. It was the coolest thing. He sang this Atlantean lullaby. Anyway, so he's been on this mission, this lifetime, going around the world. His guides are guiding him to different places to open vortices and portals and such. And at one point, when he had finished this particular mission, if you want to call it that, he realized that he wasn't looking for the answers. That we're not looking for answers. Answers, when you find the answers, that's like finding perfection, and that's the end. There's nothing beyond that. If you have all the answers, there's no growth beyond that. What you're actually looking for is the next questions. It's the query, it's the curiosity, right? Like going back to Star Trek again. It's the curiosity to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. It's curiosity. What's out there? Who am I in the perspective of life, the universe, and everything, right? So allow your curiosity, that spark of curiosity, to burn, to draw you forward. And like lynx, if you've ever seen a lynx in person, their feet are huge, right? Because their main prey is the snowshoe hare. And so they have these huge feet. They're literally like snowshoes. They keep them from sinking into the snow so they can run along the surface without sinking in. And so that's part of that as well. It's by not holding the heaviness of responsibility, of obligation, but always looking what's next. Ooh, what can we do with this? Ooh, what's possible here? You're drawing yourself forward. You're lifting yourself above the world, basically running across the top of the world, kind of like in Lord of the Rings, when they're trying to cross those mountains and stuff, right? If you've ever paid attention, everyone else is like at least like belly deep in snow, trudging forward, trying to get through the snow. Meanwhile, Legolas is just doop-de-doop-de-doo walking on top of the snow, right? Okay, I just got this really interesting vision of Charlotte's Web, right? When Charlotte died, and then Will they brought the egg pouch, her egg pouch, back to the farm, and then all her babies were born, and then they all started taking off. I got this image of that from Charlotte's Web when all these baby spiders are starting to what do they call that? Ballooning? Like they send threads out, and the wind catches them and takes them, and they just kind of go out. And it was kind of like this curiosity, like, where's my place in the world? Let's go. Let's see what's out there. Let's rise above the world, not get entrenched in, buried in the snow and the mud and the drudgery of the world. And again, it's kind of keeping that vision, that namaste, keeping that vision of yourself as divine, realizing no matter what's going on around you, what's going on in the world, that you are in the world, but not of the world. Oh, you're welcome, Anna. I hope that made sense. I know that was a card before. I didn't. Does that make sense, Sylvia? That gaze, right? Lynx doesn't just look at you. Lynx looks through you. And she sees everything about you without having to utter a word. It's having that gaze, seeing the world for what it is, beyond the surface, beyond what is apparent, which seems to be kind of the theme of tonight. So, good job. All right, card number 6 for Tiffany. I am so hot. I forgot to move my fan over here. All right, card number 6 for Tiffany. Awesome. All right, card number 6. Oh, you're so well, Anna. You're so welcome. Card number 6 for Tiffany is Possum. I'm trying to write down the counter numbers so I can help you find your card after I post the video back on my YouTube. This is perfect. Possum is exactly what I just said about being in the world, but not of the world. Possum is the actor in the animal kingdom, right? Playing possum. And so it's keeping that whole idea, like Shakespeare said about, the world's a stage and each of us must play a part, right? Realizing that on some level, this world is an illusion. This world is a production. We are living mythology. We are living stories. But that's on the personality ego level, because we are not the roles we are playing. We are the actor who is playing a role, right? And if you believe in past lives and future lives and all of that kind of stuff, and in a quantum universe where time and space are illusions, it's like all of your past lives, all of your future lives are happening right now. It's not that you had that life back then. It's finished. It affects who you are now, but there's no flow between them. But that life is still happening. And what you do in your life affects that life. And what you do in that life affects this life. Because you're not the character. You're not the ego. You're not the role that you're playing. You are the actor playing. It's like there's this really good book. It's The Education of Oversoul 7 by Jane Roberts, who's the one who channeled the entity Seth. If you've ever read the Seth books, which I highly, highly recommend. But it's a fictional book, but she kind of explains some of the concepts that Seth presents. And it's like Oversoul 7 is this oversoul. So it's like the higher self part of like on Tuesdays he lives in the Middle Ages. On Wednesdays he's in present time. On Fridays he's like in the year 8000 something. But to him they're all different. He's all of them. And each of those individuals are still, they're unique and valid. How do I put this? This is not to undermine the integrity or the value of you as an individual, because from where you are in this lifetime at this moment, this is the only moment that's real, right? Time doesn't exist. And so you can kind of think of those other things as other possible use, probable use. Now I think I'm getting off. But each of those individuals, as they are following their own spiritual growth, like I said earlier, how your higher self is your destination, right? As you set that destination in your cosmic GPS, all of those lifetimes, their destination is the same place. And each of those individuals are an aspect of that higher self. And so it's like identifying with that higher self, identifying as that spirit having a human experience rather than a human having a spiritual experience. In other words, realizing that this world is a production, a play, a movie, however you want to think of it, that it's malleable. Everything is changeable. Everything is malleable because everything is energy. Everything is frequency. And so there is never a time of no hope. There is never a time of no love or no light. And so that when you can walk lightly in the world, knowing that, and when I went through my decade of panic attacks and anxiety and everything, that was the crux of it, is that I would get pulled into this place where it felt like just the things I could see or feel, etc., were real. Like there was nothing beyond that. I knew that wasn't correct, but that's how it felt. And it was such an isolating, claustrophobic feeling of like there was no hope, there was no change, there was no point to anything. But this, this is recognizing. So from where I am now, and I look back on that time, I can see how that was just another chapter in my story. And that at that time I had available to me all the awareness that I have right now, all of the divinity, all of the miracles, everything, that I was never trapped. And I think that's the main point for me anyway with possum medicine, is that whole absence of the fourth wall. Like, well, like even in my comics, my characters are kind of self-aware, and they talk to me, they complain, especially my main character, Gerb. He's always complaining because I'm either not drawing them enough, or I'm drawing them too much. It's like he wants a break. It's like, can't you just give us a break and draw something else? And so that's like that absence of the fourth wall. And it's almost like they're aware of being an aspect of me. Like all my characters, I've got 3 characters. One's a worm named Wormy. I know that's kind of unoriginal, but I named him when I was like 5. And then a dog named Longleg, same thing. And then Gerb, who is this kind of gerbil rodent guy, he's a messenger of the gods. And it's like each of them, it's like Wormy is kind of this aspect of me, this wisdom, this kind of like Buddha-like, meditate, like in alignment. Longleg is like my inner puppy. He's all excited about everything. And Gerb is my inner critic. And he's either complaining because I'm drawing him too much and he needs a break, I'm tiring him out, or I'm not paying enough attention, I'm not drawing him enough, and so I need to like come up with new stories so that he can actually get some work. It's kind of that same thing. It's like that you are the actor having this, you're an actor having this experience, acting this part. And it's not that it's an empty experience, it's like you're learning from it. But it's that realization, that absence, being able to see through that fourth wall that keeps you from becoming too entrenched in the dramas and the confusions of the world. And the thing is, I love this synchronicity, because one of the things, possum is immune to like all kinds of toxins and venom. I read someplace it takes 80 some rattlesnake bites before a possum will start to feel it. And so if you think about that, like being the actor and how that keeps you, what are the words I'm looking for? It keeps you from being, it keeps you immune, because when you realize that you're the actor, not the character, then there's so many things that people throw at you, that if you were the character, they would be harmful, they would be toxic. But when you realize that you're not the character, that you're not of this world, then those things go right through you or right past you. They don't, there's no place for them to get a hold of you. There's no place for those hooks to get in. And so good for you, Tiffany. It's like, again, it's a process. Again, it does not that you walk through every day that way, but I think that that's becoming more and more apparent to you, or at least the realization that there's more than what is seen. And remember that the world is, I said this earlier, the world is basically an improvisation. We're making it up as we go along. There are people who try to, throw a script at you or try to control things and say, there's certain ways we have to do this. There's certain things, okay, you say this, I respond with this, and then you say that, and it's like this regimented way of living, which isn't living at all, right? And so you bring this fresh, open-hearted approach to life where, because you have a different perspective, because you see things differently, people say things to you and you respond totally out of left field, out of the box, and they don't know how to respond to you, which that is your gift to them, because you're making them have to actually be present and take in what you just said or did, and then respond from their present, from their heart, to what you just did, rather than to just doing it by rote, doing it by memory, not actually being present. So that is a great thing that you give them. And the more you are yourself, the more you don't. It's like so many things I've said tonight go so hand in hand. That curiosity, like when you start to realize the true makeup of the universe, from the quantum level, how everything is just a field of energy, and that it's us, by our perception of that reality, that collapses that field into one reality or another reality. Kind of like Schrodinger's cat, right? And so when you live in that way, that's how you uncover the miracles. That's how the synchronicities happen, because you're giving space for them to happen. You don't have your entire life regimented and scripted, which is actually a way, living from fear of actually being present in the world, of actually living and feeling. When you're living by a script, it means you don't have to be totally engaged. You don't have to be totally present, right? So good for you for bringing that. It's like, there are people who love you, and people, I'm not going to say who hate you, but that people that are uncomfortable around you because they don't know what you're going to say next. They don't know how to take you because you don't fit into that, you don't fit into their pigeonholes, and that's okay. Because that's like I was saying earlier about like speakers who spend all their time trying to convince those who don't believe them, rather than speaking to those who actually support them, right? So by being yourself, by being authentic, you are drawing to yourself those people of a similar vibe, of similar beliefs, and you just make each other stronger. So, awesome. Awesome possum. All right, I'm going to pull one more card for the community. Thank you if you're still here. I see there's a few people still here. I appreciate your endurance. I really do. And I will, when this is done, because I'm doing it YouTube live, for some reason it takes longer to get up on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure how that works, but this will be back on my YouTube channel at some point, so you can watch this anytime you want. Again, please share. And again, if you would like, if you got something from tonight and you wish to reciprocate in a different way, I do have my PayPal and my Venmo links in the description. I'm gonna look into that super chat thing. I don't know how that works, but we'll see. Thank you for bringing that up. And what else? And if you're local, this coming Saturday, I'm going to be teaching a class. Oh, you're so welcome, Tiffany. I'm glad it was meaningful. I'm glad you got something from it. If you are local, this coming Saturday in Auburn, Washington, I will be teaching my Introduction to Shamanic Journey class. This is, I won't say it's the class, but it was a class similar to that I took almost 20 years ago. That is the reason I am sitting here with you doing what I'm doing right now. It was a life changer, and it can change your life, because not only will you learn about shamanism, what it is, how it works, who your spirit guides are, etc., etc., I will also teach you the technique of shamanic journeying, which is the technique that shamans have used for over 100,000 years. Shamanism is the oldest known spiritual practice to humankind. It's at the heart of every religion, every philosophy, every culture has a form of shamanism. It happened at the same time all over the planet. And so no matter who you are, you literally have shamanism in your blood. And I will teach you how to do the technique, shamanic journeying, so not only will you learn about shamanism, you will learn how to access, how to connect to your spirit guides. You will actually meet one of your spirit guides, an animal spirit guide, and begin what can be a lifelong relationship with them. You will meet one of your power animals and learn how to connect with them and your other spirit guides, because that's what shamanism is. It's a practice of direct revelation, where you get your information straight from spirit. And it is an amazing life. And it doesn't mean you're a shaman, and I will go into that in the class. Not everyone is called to be a shaman. Being a shaman is a vocation, like becoming a priest or a nun, right? But anyone can follow a shamanic path. Anyone can utilize shamanic journeying for their own spiritual growth, for their own access to their own guidance, etc. It fits with any spiritual or religious beliefs you have. Mostly, I'll say. But anyway, so yeah, it's very empowering. It will change your life. So that is this coming Saturday in Auburn, Washington, from noon to 3 at Aura Song Gifts. And I'll put the information, I think I put the information in the description. There's limited space, so register early if you'd like to come. I am so looking forward to it. It's always fun. And you get to learn more about me and my path, how I got to be here, doing what I do. Is there anything else? I think that's it. Oh, no. And if you would like a personal reading with me, or healing, or teaching, I also do one-on-one mentoring. So if you would like a spiritual teacher, a spiritual mentor, I am all about that. You can check out my website, perchingwolfstudios.net. So you can learn more about me. You can see the different offerings I have, the shamanic healings and teachings and readings. And you can set up a session with me right from my website. And like I said, being a shaman is a 24/7 job. My job is to support the community that supports me. So I love my job. I love my job. Love, 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 love my job. So, all right, one more card. All right. Our community card, our community totem for this week is Lizard. Lizard is the dreamer. Lizard recognizes his job of co-creating his reality. There's a story that goes with Lizard that one day Lizard is sunning himself on a rock, and Coyote comes up to him and says, "Hey, what you doing?" And Lizard kind of half opens his eye and he says, "I'm dreaming." And Coyote's like, "Oh, you're sleeping? You're taking a nap?" And Lizard was like, "No, I'm dreaming. I am creating my future. I am visualizing. I am manifesting." And Coyote's like, "Well, how do you know I'm not here to eat you?" And Lizard was like, "Because I dreamt you earlier, and I dreamt you with a full tummy." And so it's kind of like, remember that whatever you experience in this life, whatever comes up in your life, it started as a dream within you. Your reality is custom made for you to get home, to get where you're going. Whatever challenges, whatever helpers, whatever happens is part of your dream. And so dream big rather than reacting to life, be the instigator of life. Dream what you want. Dream of who you want to be. Put yourself in that place. Like Ramtha says, don't manifest the money for the shoes, manifest the shoes. Dream big. Anything is possible. And the more, it's like the problem with today's world is we're all dreaming the wrong dream. If we can change the dream that we're dreaming en masse, whatever, however you say that, that is what will change the world. So dream big. Follow your dreams. Like I said earlier, that is your divine compass telling you which direction to go. That those dreams are not only your gift to yourself, your compass, those are the gifts you came to give the world. Like Picasso said, we get the most from our gifts by giving them away. If you think of your talents, you think of your passions. It's by exploring our passions and sharing our passions, giving them away, that improves the world. So follow your dreams. When you wish upon a star. Didn't know if I'd hit that note. Dream, dream, dream. Whatever it is a dream and it can be changed. Whatever you can face, you can change. All right, my friends? So thank you again. This was a long one. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate every single one of you. This is always a highlight of my week. And so invite your friends next time, share the video, and until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye. How do I end this thing?